Hey, so right now I want to go over loops. And loops are ways in programming that you can continually run something. And this is the first loop. So this is known as a while loop. And initially I define a variable called c, set it equal to 0. Then I say, well, while c is less than 13, run everything in this code. Now, this console logs the value of C, and at the end, you see C++. Plus plus is a shorthand for writing C equals C plus 1. Essentially saying, hey, take the value of what C was and bring it up by 1. This is called increment. So we're incrementing it. And if you've ever heard of the programming language C++, essentially it's the next version up of C. So maybe you just got that joke. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. I'm going to go ahead and try this in console. And you can see that this ran 12 times. Really, it's 13 times because it started off as 0. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to be careful of running a loop that's always true. So if I say while true is equal to true, do this, this loop will never finish, and this will eventually crash your browser, depending on how your browser manages resources. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that out. Now, the next loop that we have is the for loop. Now, the for loop is very similar to the while loop, but it's shorter. So in the while loop, initially we defined C. We said if this is true, execute this code, and then we increment C so that this loop can eventually cease to exist and it will resolve. Now, the for loop is the while loop in one line. At first, it says set C equal to 0, like we did here. Then we go ahead and put the operator, so the condition that will break the loop. So if C ever goes past 13, then I have a bit of a typo here. We want to increment C by 1, and this will execute the same exact code. So that infinite loop actually broke. Crash Chrome to start over. Cool. And this for loop does the same exact thing. Now there's another loop called the do while loop, and essentially this will execute at least once. So it says, okay, do this, and then it goes ahead and console logs the value of C. Then afterwards, check to see if this is correct, or if this is still less than 13, then run it again. But no matter what, this will always run once. The next loop is the for in. So let's say I have a variable called array, and array is A, B, and false. And in JavaScript, an array can contain anything, so it can contain any type of data. So A, B, false, for example, a number, and then maybe even another array. Then I want to say for each thing in the array, set it as X, and then console log that out. So first, I'm going to do this. I have a variable called array. I'm going to say for X in array, console log the value of X. Clear my terminal, my console rather. And if I type this in, this will execute and this will start as 0, 1, 2, 3. And this is the index of each. So this is the 0th index, the first, second, and third index. Now I want to go ahead and show each member of the array at that index. So the array is called ARR. And I know I have to do this. I have to go 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. Now the way you do this is you just put X because X goes up. If this confuses you, don't worry about it. You'll eventually get used to this sort of thinking the more and more you program. And this will go ahead and shoot out all the members of this array.